Hartford natives' talents behind the lens are being thrust into the national spotlight. Filmmaker Rashad Frett's short film Ricky took home a directing award at the 2025 Sundance Film Festival, and it is set to hit select theaters next month. Let's check out a little bit of the trailer.
Any contact with felons?
No, ma'am. I ain't do nothing. They was chasing me for no reason. There's always a reason.
Any drugs?
No.
What about a job? You find anything?
Yes, ma'am. I'll find you something else. I can't go back to you. I know.
Wonderful.
All right, and the award-winning filmmaker joins us this morning along with Maurice Eastwood, a local author, entrepreneur, and mental health provider whose work was featured in the film. Good morning.
Morning. How you doing?
I'm so excited to chat with you all about this. Just that little bit of the trailer, it's got my attention. It's captivating.
Appreciate it.
So Rashad, first up, tell us, what is Ricky about?
So Ricky is pretty much about, following an ex-offender, trying to reacclimate after doing 15 years. As a teenager, trying to transition to being an adult. And so this is his first time out of prison as, an adult and, trying to get used to being a grown adult in the free world. Mm-hmm. And, we follow him on his struggles, trying to reacclimate and trying to get used to, the changes in society and things like that.
And that's a very real story that a lot of folks can identify with.
Yeah, my inspiration was, I grew up between Hartford and the Caribbean and just seeing a lot of my peers go in and out of the system, the criminal justice system, and seeing them transition, or some people mentally stuck in a certain time period, but years, decades later, trying to transition. So
yeah, that
was the inspiration behind it.
Why was it important for you to film here in Hartford?
It was important for me to film here because this was where the inspiration the genesis of the inspiration came from, and I felt like it was only right. I wanted to give opportunity to people that I knew, friends and family. A good friend of mine, my brother, his work speaks for itself. But just I wanted it to be homegrown.
Yes. Absolutely, that is wonderful. We have the local community involved all in through the project, right?
Right.
Now, Maurice, your book, you're an author, and you also have a clothing line that is included in the film. Tell me how it feels to know that your work will be exposed to a national audience now.
I feel like when I was writing it for that. So I felt like my intentions and what I manifested came true. I'm just glad it was able to come true with somebody who I'm close to, and with my intentions on getting the books inside of the prisons and things like that, for it to be involved in this film with somebody who's reacclimating himself to society and trying to build a superior version of themselves. I felt like it meshed perfectly. He had no idea of some of the things until after watching the film. Did you know that it just meshed perfectly?
Yeah, I love that. And we have to mention, you have the iconic Cheryl Lee Ralph in the film, who's from Waterbury.
Right. Mrs. Ralph, I never forget when we first met, I was starstruck. My agents was like, Mrs. Ralph read the script and wanted to meet, and I didn't believe him. And, when we first met, I was like, Mrs. Ralph, I apologize, I'm starstruck. And she's like, well, get used to it. I never forget, but it was like, it felt like, family, we're both of, Caribbean descent, and it was just like a lot of the actors on sets, including, Stefan James, the lead, are Caribbean, and shout out to, Titus Welliver, who a lot of people know him from Bosch. He's also from Connecticut.
Awesome.
And, it was just like a homegrown thing with, support from friends and family.
Yeah. Okay, now we do have to head out in a bit, but we do want to mention the film is being released independently. This is the feature film next month, March 20th, but there is a Kickstarter campaign to help expand its reach. So tell us how people can get involved with that.
Yeah, so, if you type in Ricky Rashad Frett Kickstarter. You'll see the link on Google. But yeah, you know, it's just more so the Kickstarter is to pay it forward. You know, it's not like we're not trying to raise money. It's just more so pre-buying your ticket before it gets out there. And it's going to be a national release. And, you know, we just trying to get the work out and, you know, have this film be, you know, start, you know, important conversations about just, you know, reacclimating ex-offenders back into society. You know?
Awesome, awesome. Now, how can people keep up with the both of you and what you have next?
Yeah, so, you know, I'm real low key, you know what I'm saying? So, but on Instagram, I'm Cine Rebel, CINE Rebel 860. And
Mine is M Eastwood 860. So I guess we got the 860 in common on our usernames.
Repping your home state.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, and congratulations. This is incredible.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
And we'll have all those details for you on our website, fox61.com.